Now I know a lot of people don't really let any trees grow in their pasture, but you know, when you're grazing animals, it's a good thing to have some shade. I wish we had some more bigger trees out here. So this spot, we're gonna let these trees grow. And I've talked about it before, but anywhere that seems like it'd be useful to have some shade, if we get some trees growing, just some volunteers growing out there, we're gonna probably try and let them grow. We did plant some, and some made it and some didn't. So we have this walnut tree over here. We're gonna let that one grow, but we actually planted that one. We transplanted that. We pulled that from a different area, and we had a few others, but I don't think really any of the other ones made it. We might have one in a different spot on the property that we transplanted. That's still alive, but a lot of them didn't make it. It got too hot and dry after we transplanted those. So, but I'm surprised even that one made it. It's actually still pretty nice. Pretty nice little tree. The rams are in Johnson grass heaven right now. It's not just Johnson grass in here. There's a whole bunch of really good plantain and some clover. And then we got some fescue and we got some long spike tridents. But they're loving life. Look at this stuff, man. It looks like corn. Wow, look at that. Super red. They're going after the plantain and the Johnson grass right now, though. So now that we have the rams in a completely different part of the pasture than the ewes, it's adding to the work. It's kind of doubling everything up. But I think the main thing for us is whenever we're out here doing chores and it's the heat of the day and all that, and you're really trying to get stuff done pretty quick, we just try to make one round trip to do what we got to do as far as moving fence, bringing out water, and it doesn't add too much more. It's really just the distance between the two sets of sheep, the two different little flocks, and then resetting the chargers, because now we're using two chargers. We can't reach chargers to the other one, but as long as we're making just a round trip to do the work, it doesn't add that much time to it. Now if we had to reset after, like, say, going to the ewes, and then we had to go back to the house and gather things up and then come back out here, that would really add some time, but that's not what we're doing. We're grabbing everything that we need. We're coming out, we're bringing all the water for the ewes and for the rams, and that way we're not adding too much time to it, and that's working out pretty good. But with these guys getting bigger, they were proving that they couldn't be too close to those ewes down there. It was just too much for them to ignore. So they're hitting that age. So now that we have them separated, we don't have to worry about it. They're not calling for their moms and worrying about trying to test the fence or anything. They're pretty happy over here. They're loving the Johnson grass. Hey guys, if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy our channel, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can see when we have more videos come out. Thanks a lot. Did that dog scare you? Don't worry, she's after coyotes, not sheep. She's not after the sheep. Yep, look at her. Mighty coyote hunter. Well, we've got a nice cool breeze blowing through here today. That is not very common. So it's actually pretty nice and comfortable out here. But starting Sunday, we're going to have a major heat wave apparently. We're going to be back into the 110 plus degree heat index. So we'll have to make sure that we got plenty of shade for everybody. Probably another week of that's going to start on Sunday, and then we'll have to see what happens afterwards. That'll be great to get into the fall when things start cooling down a little bit. It's good to get an idea of what they're eating. Looks like Ricky's going after the clover. You can see JJ's going after the plantain over there. And all these guys now are eating plantain. Interested to see if any of them are going to eat this Bermuda grass. It kind of looks like Oreo is. It's kind of this big patch right here of this really fine stuff. This is Bermuda grass. I don't see him eating it very much, but it looks like he's actually eating it right now. Well, cool, because we're getting more and more of it. So it's good to know that they'll actually graze on it. That, and he's getting the clover. So they're eating pretty much everything that's in here. So our last rotation through this area, I did not graze the sheep on this particular hillside. And the reason I didn't is because it was really patchy. It had gone to seed like this, but there was a lot of dirt showing, and I just didn't see any reason really. There wasn't enough good feed on this hillside to run the sheep on. One thing I'm finding interesting right now that I didn't see before is there's like a ring. There's a ring of, looks like tridents, two different kinds. We got the long spike and we got the purple tops, and they're kind of a darker, kind of like a silvery color almost. But that's just odd that there's this ring of that. But anyways, this hillside here came back after I mowed it really well. It's pretty impressive. It's not super thick, but there's a lot more feed over here than there was. I can show you, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that very well, but there's a lot of bare spots, and I think that was probably from running the partly anyways, from running the sheep over here in the fall and in the winter, because they do tend to make a mess on this hill. It's pretty squishy in the winter time when it's wet. But man, I didn't expect this to come back like this. I didn't think we'd graze over here again probably until next year, but now I see I have an awesome spot where I can probably run the rams, because they haven't been over here. Now all these other trees, we've used up all this area for now until it's time to come back here again. But this particular spot here, we did not put them on this hillside last time. So for our hot heat index of 110 or whatever is coming up, we have a really good spot for them. Look at this stuff. It did not look like this when I mowed. I did have them under this tree. It's kind of dark right now, but I did have them right under this tree, but I did not have them on the hillside here. So I got a pretty good big area for them for the hot weather. So that's awesome. Not sure what this stuff is. I'll have to go do some research on that. It almost looks like lettuce. Let me know in the comments if you guys know what that is. Now that's some fungus right there. Well, these guys are all set up for the night. And I got their paddock big enough to utilize the majority of this Johnson grass. I wanted to get them to eat that. That's a lot of feed for them. So they'll have a chance to chow all through here. I won't have to come up and just mow all this stuff down. And I think probably I'm gonna end up rotating them around this set of trees here so that they have the shade. And then I'll be going over to the hillside I showed you guys that I mowed and didn't graze them on yet. Gotta get a little bit creative in the summer here in Missouri. And it gets pretty hot, and you got to make sure that the animals got some shade. They got to be able to get out of the sun at least in the hottest part of the day. So if you don't have the trees in the middle that they can get to, you got to figure something out for them. Once we get to the cooler part of the year, it sure is going to simplify things, but for now we get to be creative and use our problem-solving skills, and we'll catch you on the next one.